Hold up, is Grievous wielding a red lightsaber?
Can't be.
There's a lot more to this alternate Obi-Wan versus Grievous duel than just a lightsaber color, so let's start from the very beginning. Before the main duel even begins, Obi-Wan would have fought 6 of Grievous's Magna Guards at once. I made a whole video analyzing this deleted sequence, which lead stunt coordinator Nick Gillard believes is the greatest fight of the entire saga. After Obi-Wan takes care of these guys, Grievous orders his army to stand down, announcing that he'll deal with this Jedi slime himself. As you know, Obi-Wan is the literal king of one-liners, so when Grievous tells General Kenobi,
"I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku,"
he was supposed to respond,
Well, I trained the Jedi who killed Count Dooku.
Now, in this live-action previs footage, when Grievous ignites his lightsabers, one of them is red. I honestly don't know the full story behind this, and I really couldn't find any additional information, but it just doesn't make any sense for one to be red. Grievous takes his lightsabers from the Jedi he kills, and Jedi don't have red lightsabers. Originally, though, it wasn't even planned for him to fight with any lightsabers, let alone 4. In some very early rehearsal footage from back when Grievous only had 2 arms, Nick Gillard was experimenting with the idea of having him fight Obi-Wan with a Magna Guard's Electro Staff. In the footage, Obi-Wan slices Grievous' stomach up a bit, but it's not long before the Jedi is disarmed and sent flying backwards by the cyborg's strike. Anyway, during the fight, as Grievous starts losing some of his arms, he realizes it's time to abandon ship and runs away on his wheel speeder. The following chase sequence with Obi-Wan on his Boga Lizard was supposed to be a lot longer. There's some exceptions, but for the most part, I generally get super bored by chase scenes. Especially here, it's like, alright, just go back to fighting each other now. So I'm glad it wasn't included. There was a portion where they're going through some tunnel, and then as a subway train approaches, Grievous goes straight into it and is just mowing down all the passengers. Another sequence deleted from the chase involved Grievous starting up one of these windmill turbine things. Obi-Wan's Boga can't get past, so he kinda just sticks his saber in between the rotor blades, which causes this crazy chain reaction where everything is just falling and getting super chaotic. Grievous narrowly escapes, with Obi-Wan just barely hanging on. He's dragging him through the streets, and then Obi-Wan does this cool cowboy lasso thing to get Grievous to crash his bike. From the shadows, Obi-Wan emerges with his blue lightsaber, but you know, he's kinda tired of the same old weapon. It's time for a change, so he decides to give the Electro Staff a try. They end up wrestling for it, and Grievous is completely swinging Obi-Wan around in circles. When the staff ends up falling over the cliff, they have no choice but to resort to the only weapons left, their hands. Obi-Wan takes an absolute whooping, then retaliates by opening up Grievous' armor to pull out some vital organs. Then, as Grievous is just sitting there with his guts falling out, Obi-Wan takes the time to go back and find his lightsaber. The defeated general even tries putting his hands up to surrender, but Obi-Wan doesn't care. Off with the hands. And last but not least, he decides to finish Grievous off by ripping out this giant main organ. I think it's a brain, I don't know, I'm not a doctor, but you know what? It's not enough. So while we're at it, let's grab a blaster and shoot the brain too. But nah, you're not fooling the wise old Obi-Wan. You always gotta triple check. Let's kick him off the cliff too, for good measure.
So uncivilized.
I know things were starting to get a little crazy, but you could tap right over here to keep watching some other deleted lightsaber duels.